English Pro Max Podcast. Welcome to the English Pro Max Podcast, where learning English meets real-life transformation. I'm Monica.
And I'm Joey. We're thrilled you're here with us today, whether you're a long-time listener or just discovering us for the first time.
Today we're tackling something huge. It's a topic that can literally change the trajectory of your entire life.
Oh, this sounds serious. What are we diving into?
We're talking about self-discipline. It's the one quality that separates dreamers from achievers.
Self-discipline. You know what, Monica? I really need to hear this. I've been slacking off lately on some of my personal commitments.
Really, what's been happening?
Well, I made this promise to myself to wake up early and go for a run every morning. But somehow, my alarm goes off and I just hit snooze. Then I tell myself I'll do it tomorrow instead.
The famous tomorrow excuse. We've all used that one, haven't we?
Absolutely. And the worst part is I genuinely want to improve. I'm not lazy. I just can't seem to follow through consistently.
That's exactly why we're having this conversation. Self-discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about creating systems that help you show up even when you don't feel like it.
I like that perspective. So it's not just about willpower?
Not at all. In fact, relying only on willpower is a recipe for failure. We need practical strategies that work with human nature, not against it.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's the first strategy?
The first tip is to embrace micro-habits. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire life overnight, you start incredibly small.
How small are we talking?
So small that it feels almost too easy. For example, instead of saying you'll meditate for 30 minutes every day, you commit to just 2 minutes.
2 minutes? That does sound ridiculously easy.
Exactly. And that's the point. When a habit is so small, you remove all the mental resistance. You can't make excuses when the task takes less time than brushing your teeth.
I never thought about it that way. I always assumed bigger goals meant faster progress.
That's a common misconception. The truth is, tiny actions repeated daily create compound effects. It's like putting money in a savings account. Each deposit seems small, but over time, it adds up to something significant.
So, for English learning, instead of studying for 2 hours straight, listeners could just review 5 new words each morning?
Precisely. 5 words per day means over 1,800 new words in a year. That's massive vocabulary growth from just a tiny daily habit.
Wow, when you break it down like that, it really puts things in perspective.
And here's another benefit. When you start small, you build what we call momentum. That's our first power word for today.
Momentum. I've heard that word before, but what does it mean exactly?
Momentum is the force that keeps something moving forward. Once you get started, it becomes easier to keep going. Think of pushing a heavy cart. The first push is the hardest, but once it's rolling, it takes less effort to maintain the movement.
That makes total sense. So those tiny habits create momentum and then bigger changes become possible.
You've got it. Now, let's move to the second strategy. This one is about shifting your focus from outcomes to processes.
What do you mean by that?
Instead of obsessing over the end result, you concentrate on building a reliable system. The system is what you do daily, regardless of how you feel.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, let's say someone wants to write a novel. That's the outcome, but the system would be writing 300 words every single day, no exceptions.
I see. So the outcome is the destination, but the system is the vehicle that gets you there.
Perfect analogy. And here's why this matters. Outcomes are often outside your control. You can't control whether your novel becomes a bestseller. But you can absolutely control whether you write 300 words today.
That's actually really empowering. It puts the power back in your hands.
Exactly. For English learners, the outcome might be fluency, but the system is listening to English content for 15 minutes during breakfast every morning.
So you're saying people should fall in love with the process, not just the goal?
Precisely. When you embrace the system, you stop feeling anxious about results. You just show up and do the work.
I have to admit, I've definitely been guilty of focusing too much on outcomes. I'll set a goal like losing 20 pounds, and then I get frustrated when I don't see immediate changes.
That frustration is totally normal. Our brains want instant gratification, but real transformation happens slowly through consistent daily actions.
Okay, so we've covered starting small and focusing on systems. What's next?
The third strategy is to make your habits irresistible. You want to associate them with pleasure, not pain.
How do you do that?
One powerful technique is called temptation bundling. You pair something you need to do with something you love to do.
Can you explain that more?
Sure, let's say you need to exercise, but you also love listening to your favorite mystery podcast. You make a rule that you only get to listen to that podcast while you're walking or running.
Oh, that's clever. So the podcast becomes a reward that makes the exercise more appealing.
Exactly. Your brain starts to associate the workout with the pleasure of the podcast. Over time, you actually look forward to exercising because it means you get to enjoy your show.
I love this idea. What about for English practice?
You could watch your favorite comedy series, but only in English with English subtitles. Or you could treat yourself to a delicious coffee, but only while you're reviewing your vocabulary flashcards.
That's genius. You're basically tricking your brain into enjoying the thing you're supposed to do.
I wouldn't say tricking. You're strategically designing your experience to make success more likely.
Fair point. So we're making discipline feel less like deprivation and more like enjoyment.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another important power word, reinforcement.
Reinforcement? What does that mean?
Reinforcement means strengthening a behavior through rewards or positive feedback. When you reinforce a habit, you make it more likely to stick.
So every time you reward yourself after practicing English, you're reinforcing that habit?
Exactly. Your brain remembers the reward and wants to repeat the behavior to get that reward again.
This is making so much sense. What's the next strategy?
Strategy number 4 is all about environmental design. Your surroundings have a massive impact on your behavior, often without you even realizing it.
Really? How so?
Think about it this way. If you keep cookies on your kitchen counter, you're much more likely to eat them than if they're hidden in the back of a cupboard.
That's true. I definitely snack more when junk food is visible.
Exactly. So the key is to design your environment to support your goals instead of sabotaging them.
What would that look like for someone learning English?
You could set your phone's language to English. You could put English books on your nightstand instead of in a closet. You could leave sticky notes with new vocabulary words on your bathroom mirror.
So you're making the desired behavior as easy and visible as possible.
Precisely. And you're also making undesirable behaviors harder. If you waste too much time on social media, you could delete the apps from your phone and only access them from your computer.
That creates friction. It makes the bad habit less convenient.
You've got it. And here's an important point about environment. It's not just physical spaces, the people around you matter too.
How do you mean?
If you surround yourself with people who value learning and growth, their habits will rub off on you. If you hang out with people who make fun of self-improvement, you'll struggle to stay motivated.
So it's like that saying, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with?
Exactly. Choose your circle wisely. Seek out friends, mentors, or online communities that encourage your goals.
This is really hitting home for me. I need to be more intentional about who I spend time with.
It's one of the most powerful changes you can make. Now, let's talk about strategy number 5, managing your energy, not just your time.
What's the difference?
Time management is about scheduling tasks. Energy management is about doing the right tasks when you have the right energy for them.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Let's say you're a morning person. Your brain is sharpest between 7 and 10 a.m. That's when you should tackle your most challenging work, like learning new English grammar concepts or writing.
And if you try to do those things at night when you're tired, it'll be much harder.
Exactly. You'll waste time struggling through tasks that would have been easy earlier in the day.
So it's about working with your natural rhythms instead of against them.
Precisely. And this brings up an important concept called decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue? What's that?
It's the idea that your ability to make good decisions deteriorates throughout the day as you make more and more choices.
So by the end of the day, even simple decisions feel exhausting?
Exactly. That's why many successful people automate their routine decisions. They wear the same type of outfit every day. They eat the same breakfast. They follow the same morning routine.
I never realized that could make such a big difference.
It's huge. Every decision you eliminate frees up mental energy for what really matters.
So for English learners, they could decide in advance that they'll always practice at 8 a.m., right after their morning coffee.
Perfect example. When it's already decided, you don't waste energy debating whether to do it, you just do it.
This is incredibly practical advice. What's the next strategy?
Strategy number 6 is finding an accountability partner. This is someone who checks in on your progress and keeps you honest.
Like a workout buddy?
Exactly. Studies show that people are much more likely to follow through on commitments when someone else is watching.
Why is that?
It's partly social pressure, but in a positive way. You don't want to let the other person down. You also don't want to admit that you failed to do what you said you'd do.
So it creates external motivation when internal motivation isn't enough.
Precisely, and accountability partners provide encouragement when you're struggling. They celebrate your wins with you. They remind you why you started when you want to quit.
How would someone find an accountability partner for English learning?
They could join an online language exchange group. They could find a study partner on social media. They could even ask a friend or family member to check in weekly.
And I'm guessing the key is to be specific about what you're committing to.
Absolutely vague commitments, like "I'll practice more" don't work. You need specific, measurable commitments, like "I'll complete one lesson every weekday."
That makes it easy to track whether you actually did it or not.
Exactly. And here's another power word for today: accountability.
Accountability means being responsible for your actions, right?
That's right, it means you're willing to be held responsible and to answer for your commitments. When you have accountability, you can't just quietly give up without anyone noticing.
So it's like having guardrails that keep you on track.
Perfect way to put it. Now let's discuss strategy number 7, reframing setbacks as learning opportunities.
This sounds important. What do you mean by reframing?
Reframing means changing the way you interpret a situation. Instead of seeing a missed day of practice as failure, you see it as data.
Data? How so?
You ask yourself, what got in the way? Was I too tired? Did something unexpected come up? Did I forget because I didn't set a reminder?
So you're analyzing what went wrong instead of just beating yourself up about it.
Exactly. Self-criticism doesn't help you improve. Curiosity does.
I really like that mindset shift. I tend to be pretty hard on myself when I slip up.
Most people are, but harsh self-judgment actually makes you less likely to get back on track. You feel so bad about yourself that you want to avoid thinking about your goal altogether.
Wow, that's exactly what happens to me. I mess up once, feel terrible, and then avoid the whole thing for weeks.
It's a very common pattern. The antidote is self-compassion combined with problem-solving.
What does that look like in practice?
You say to yourself, okay, I missed my practice session today. That's understandable because I had an unusually stressful day at work. What can I do differently tomorrow to make sure it doesn't happen again?
So you acknowledge what happened without judgment, and then you create a plan to do better.
Precisely, this approach keeps you moving forward instead of spiraling into shame.
This is such valuable advice. What's the next strategy?
Strategy number 8 is tracking your progress visually. There's something incredibly motivating about seeing your streak continue.
Like marking days on a calendar?
Exactly. Every day you complete your habit, you put an X on the calendar. Before long, you have a chain of X's,
And you don't want to break the chain.
right? It creates a sense of achievement and momentum. You start to feel proud of your streak, and that pride motivates you to keep going.
Are there apps that do this for you?
Tons of them. There are habit tracking apps that send you reminders and show you graphs of your progress over time.
That sounds really helpful for visual learners.
It is. Seeing tangible evidence of your consistency is incredibly powerful. It proves to yourself that you're capable of following through.
So it builds your confidence along with your skills.
Exactly. And confidence is key for long-term discipline. Now, let's introduce another power word: consistency.
Consistency means doing something regularly, right?
That's right. It means showing up and taking action repeatedly in a reliable pattern. Consistency is more important than intensity when it comes to building discipline.
So it's better to practice English for 10 minutes every single day than to cram for 2 hours once a week.
Absolutely. The daily repetition creates stronger neural pathways in your brain. It also builds the habit loop more effectively.
That makes sense. What's our final strategy?
The final strategy is to connect your habits to your identity. This is about seeing yourself differently.
How do you mean?
Instead of saying, "I want to learn English," you say, "I am an English learner." It's a subtle shift, but it's powerful.
Why does that matter?
Because we all want to act in alignment with our self-image. If you see yourself as an English learner, then practicing English is just what you do. It's part of who you are.
So it becomes less about forcing yourself and more about being true to yourself.
Exactly. Every time you practice, you're casting a vote for this identity. Over time, the identity becomes stronger and more real.
That's a really empowering perspective. It's like you're creating a new version of yourself through your actions.
That's exactly what you're doing. And here's the beautiful part. Once the identity is established, discipline becomes almost automatic.
Because you're not fighting against yourself anymore. You're just being who you are.
Precisely. So our listeners should ask themselves, who do I want to become? And then take actions that align with that vision every single day.
This has been such an enlightening conversation, Monica. I feel like I have a whole toolbox of strategies now.
I'm so glad. And before we wrap up, let's quickly review those power words we discussed today.
Great idea. We covered momentum, which is the force that keeps something moving forward.
We talked about reinforcement, which means strengthening a behavior through rewards.
We discussed accountability, which is being responsible for your actions and commitments.
And we explained consistency, which is showing up regularly and taking action in a reliable pattern.
We also mentioned decision fatigue, which is when your ability to make good choices deteriorates after making too many decisions.
And don't forget temptation bundling, where you pair something you need to do with something you enjoy.
Plus reframing, which is changing how you interpret a situation to make it more constructive.
And finally, we touched on compound effects, which is how small actions accumulate into significant results over time.
Wow, that's a lot of useful vocabulary for our listeners to practice.
It really is. And remember, the best way to internalize these words is to use them in your own life. Try incorporating them into your conversations and journal entries.
Absolutely. So let's summarize the main strategies we've covered today.
First, start with micro habits that are so small you can't say no to them.
Second, focus on building systems instead of obsessing over outcomes.
Third, make your habits irresistible by pairing them with things you enjoy.
Fourth, design your environment to support your goals and remove obstacles.
Fifth, manage your energy by doing important tasks when you're at your peak.
Sixth, find an accountability partner to keep you honest and motivated.
Seventh, reframe setbacks as learning opportunities instead of failures.
Eighth, track your progress visually to see your streak and build momentum.
And finally, connect your habits to your identity so discipline becomes who you are, not just what you do.
These strategies work for any goal, whether it's learning English, getting fit, starting a business, or mastering a new skill.
The key is to choose one or two strategies to implement right away. Don't try to do everything at once.
Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. That's the formula for lasting change.
Well said, Joey. And to all our listeners, we want to hear about your journey. What habit are you going to start building today?
Share your commitment with us on social media using the hashtag EnglishProMax. We'd love to cheer you on.
And remember, we have downloadable resources for this episode on our website. You'll find comprehension questions, vocabulary exercises, and a printable habit tracker.
These resources are designed to help you put today's lessons into practice immediately.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We hope this episode gave you the tools and inspiration you need to build rock-solid discipline.
Remember, discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up consistently, even in imperfect ways.
Keep practicing, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself. We'll see you in the next episode of the English Pro Max podcast.
Until then, take care and keep learning.
This is Monica and Joey signing off. Stay disciplined, stay motivated, and keep reaching for your goals.